What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday. Welcome to the Verified AMA. I'm your host, Lawton Ho, here with Verified Investing, and I go live every single day. But the markets are open from 12:30 to 1:15 to answer your questions. Whew, the yawning starting early today. Man, what's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing today? Hope you're all well. While you're here, I just want to say thank you for being here. Make sure to like and subscribe to us on YouTube. Really helps us in the algorithms and helps more people see this program. So with that being said, guys, what questions do you have for me today? As always, you can either ask me questions by visiting the verifiedinvesting.com website or scanning this QR code down below and throwing your question in there. I'd be more than happy to answer any and all of those questions. That being said, what do you guys have for me today? What questions, do you have for me today? See this? Let me do this. One second, guys. All right. Let's see what questions you guys have for me. I apologize for that. All right, let's do it. Let's hop into it, huh? I forgot to share my charts. SP. Let's take a look at the S&P. All right, SP. Well, having a decent day there. Let's see. Let me read your question. Cool Buddy says, "What's up? Hey, Lon. Hope you're doing well. What setup would you recommend for a long swing of UPS, CrowdStrike, TXN, and Marvel? You can let me know any dip buying levels and potential targets for each dude." I'm sorry. I love your questions, Cool Buddy, but you're asking for a lot. You're asking for a lot, brother. Let me see what I can do for you. UPS entry is 81.93. No target for you. 81.93 would be an entry into a long. It's a nice pivot low. It's the COVID low. $81.93. CRWD, CrowdStrike for a long. And I'm pretty sure I gave these before. These are my levels to enter long. 368.29 and 362.55. TXN, entry for a long. It already bounced a lot today. Bounced over 3%. So I don't have a long entry. Maybe a 176.25. And then MRVL, potential long levels. And I'm sure you asked me this before because I have these levels on my chart already. You can screenshot this, take a picture. These levels are not going to change. No problem, Cool Buddy. It's just hard for me when you ask me hard for me when you ask literally entry, all targets and everything. I need to give a chance for other people to ask questions, so I hope you understand. Mike says, hey, hello, Mr. O, is that a couple in Pandal? I 3 on the DKNG chart. 3-month chart. So not really. Not really, because this like breaks it. I don't like using the 3-month chart. I don't even really use the 1-month chart. But I would say no. The bottom isn't really fully rounded. Nathan says, good morning. What do the charts say for Ethereum and Bitcoin today? Let's take a look at Ethereum first. On Ethereum, you have like this. I think Ethereum likely faces a move down to around $4,000 if I had to guesstimate. But I could be wrong. You have this potential head and shoulders beginning to form on Ethereum. We can find that you have this beautiful trend line up here. Let's see the neckline, though, of this potential head and shoulders pattern on Ethereum, which is still technically valid. This head and shoulders measure and move. God, I feel so like off today. I apologize for that, guys. I feel off today. It's about 19% lower. 19% lower. But for me, I'm going to say 3,900 is my target for Ethereum. Somewhere around there. All right, somewhere in and around there on Ethereum. As far as Bitcoin, let's see Bitcoin. Let's see if we have any good trend lines, huh? Of course, we had support here on 108. I did say that. And you can see that Bitcoin did break that 110 level today. Unable to hold. We had this previous trend line here. Really nice trend line. Broke down, retraced to it, continued to pull back. Let's see if we have anything else. Maybe a potential another trend line here. We have a couple down upsloping trend lines. All of these are bearish. For me, my target on Bitcoin is about 10.5% lower to around $98,000. That would be my target for Bitcoin to the downside. Kushal says hello. What's up, Kushal? Could you please provide insight on gold futures? Will it retrace to 35.90 or head to 36.40? Well, considering they're at 35, it depends on which ticker you're using. But the question is basically, is this going to continue higher to new all-time highs? Let's take a look at the chart and see if I can find any good levels of resistance for gold here, as it does continue to push up. Okay, look at this. Beautiful, beautiful kind of upsloping trend line. There's going to be resistance here about 1% higher. I think it does get to this level. It just depends when. If it gets there, it could get to that 36,400 you were talking about. And that would be resistance on Friday the 3rd of October. So it would be like a month from now, right? But yeah, did have a good breakout on gold. Fell initially, but has popped back up. Was briefly green, went back to negative, but is about flat. So it wouldn't surprise me if gold continued its move higher. It doesn't give me too much right now. Now, if it goes like this, yeah, that's going to create a bullish pattern and favor a move higher. But we got to see how it consolidates around this $3,500 level. Cool says inverted head and shoulders pattern on VAL. Not confirmed, but likely to. So yeah, this is what you're talking about. I see it. The only problem I have with it and that measured move is a measured move up, potentially 47% higher. It's not valid, right? It's not a valid for me. Doesn't mean it can't work out. And the reason why is because the neckline of this inverse head and shoulders is upsloping. For me, it has to be flat or down sloping. So this is not inverted head and shoulders. Not valid for me because it's upsloping. If this was down sloping, like somewhere like this, yeah, I would be interested, but this is not valid for me. Mark says, "Hey, Lon, what's up, Mark? Can you show me your support and resistance on plug?" Sure. Plug power. Similar pattern on plug power. Inverse head and shoulders, that is, did break out, right? You could say it did break out. Let's see that neckline. Something like this, right? Shoulder, head, shoulder. See that measured move? Let's see what happened. It fulfilled just about over 50% of that measured move. So I consider that measured move done. This head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders rather, did play out. There's no head and shoulders here. I guess I got to turn up the energy. I apologize. All right. Sorry about that, guys. We're back. This is not a valid head and shoulders pattern because it's a down sloping neckline. You're looking for a retrace to this neckline of this inverse head and shoulders that caused the move up. Kind of kissed it there. I expect a bounce off of this level somewhere approximately 19-ish cents lower on PLUG. For support and resistance, you have support down here on that line. For resistance, I'm likely going to choose 20% higher at this gap fill around 177 for resistance for plug. But this thing can really move. It's a smaller cap stock. And what does that mean? That means that it is more volatile and more prone to moving. Ricky says, can you check the ad levels on UPS? $82.10. It's pivot low. That's the ad level. On UPS, you join at 123, added at 87. Should I double down now or trailing? I would add at 82. Upslipping trend line, favor to move down, broke down. $82 is where I'm targeting for a bounce. Jay says, Duolingo. I'd like to enter a trade a bit lower. What level do you suggest? You have the lows of March lows over here. You have the August lows over here prior to its earnings. So these are the levels that I have. If you want to wait, so look for something in between there. you have this gap fill over here around 234 for potential entry. And as well over here. These are the levels that I anticipate a bounce potentially on Duolingo. All right. And also, hello, Lawton. What's up, Jay? It's a little cold in this office. Oh, hopefully with the you'd think with these windows back here that there'd be some more warmth in here, but not as much warmth right now. Mars says, "Hey, Mr. Ho, how are you? Nice of you to visit us again. Nice of you to visit me. I think you mean I'm all right. I'm going to Philadelphia for a bachelor party starting tonight actually. But I'm going to be live and do this tomorrow from Philadelphia, from Philly. So I have a bit of a different setup, so it'll be interesting." Javier says, "Hi, Lawton. What are your thoughts on BBY? Best Buy? Looks like it's breaking out of a range." Is it? I mean, you did have this kind of down sloping trend line that you did break up and out of, retrace, and are moving higher on. I think for me, the real hurdles for this BBY are 38.52, 81.28, and this gap fill at $86.68 is my ultimate target. Something to note is that they just had earnings, fell off of earnings, and are now continuing higher, it looks like. Jason says, "Can you please look at XRP?" I'd be happy to, Jason. Hope you're doing well, brother. XRP is in this kind of wedge-ish pattern. This wedge pattern. Sorry about that. Okay. It's kind of wedge pattern. Hasn't closed below, right? We saw this briefly, closed below, push back up, came down. So we're going to look to see a close below here, a confirmation, and then if it does, then this is bearish for the stock, or crypto rather. And I anticipate it to come down around 15-ish%. See what else we got. Got to here today. Hi, Lon. So you were right yesterday when, during the group live stream, you predicted that the market would go negative briefly and then bounce up. The question is, what made you think it was going to happen like that? Just looking to understand how your brain picked that up. Thanks. Yeah, I think it's just because that's what the market had done. The market looked like it was going to sell off a bit, and that's what usually happens that I've seen from these markets in general. They usually poke down. Let's take a look at the S&P. S&P continue to push up. They come down negative and then pop back up. So let me see. But But yeah, it's just like how the market likes to move, right? The S&P briefly went negative, was down like 0.303%, then pushed higher. It's just something that happens. Like, look here. Came negative, pushed up. Was negative, green. The market just wants to go higher, right? Just always wants to go higher, it looks like. Sarah says, how are you? Thank you, Lawton. Send me a chart. Is this descending falling wedge or bullish flagpole with measured move? What are the better buy point? What's the better buy point? Take a look at this. What ticker is this? XLM. XLM, USDT. I don't know what time frame that is. That has to be a bigger time frame, right? Is this a descending or falling wedge? Yeah, you could kind of say that it is. Let's delete some of this stuff. Something like this could be the start of a falling wedge. Favors a move to the upside. If you believe this is a falling wedge, then the buy point would be anywhere on this. Right. On the bottom of this trend line, yeah, you could say the flagpole is that measured move for an upside swing. But I don't really like using those flagpoles. To be honest, I'd want to buy somewhere around here, around 30 cents, 31 cents. But let's see if this continues lower. Okay. You see here, I just got an alert on P&W. I wonder what that's doing and why I have a level on P&W. Not sure where that level came from, but interesting. Hope that makes sense, Sarah. And thank you so much for being here. You're welcome, Mike. Sarah says, awesome, Lon. Thank you for your help. Of course, weekly chart from November 2023 to now. Is Shiba holding a bullish reversal falling wedge weekly on SHIB USDT, weekly from 2024. Something like this, right? This is not, I would not say this is a falling wedge. Really, I would just say this is just a normal wedge. It is like, yeah, it's like so close to just being like just a triangle pattern. But you can play it just like a wedge. It is technically falling, does favor a move higher, right? But even within that, let's go a little closer, huh? Let's go a little bit closer. For me, this is what I'm watching. You can probably pull another wedge. A wedge like this, or even a smaller one. Let's go a little bit even closer here. Yeah, something like this. Down here, you can draw something like this. There's a little falling wedge. Favors a move higher, I would say, to around here, this level. This would be my target for SHIB if I was playing this wedge. I don't like these so big time frames with crazy measured moves as much. Right? I find that they don't usually play out. Mars says, I see a head and shoulders forming on Solana. Okay. 4 hour chart. Yeah, I see it too. That's a good head and shoulders pattern. 100% absolutely. I agree. Something like this, right? Let's delete that. Let's delete this. Let's go ahead and find that measured move for you. It needs to come down though, right? You need it to break down like 3% to finish the shoulder, but you know that. That measured move, depending on when it breaks, would be approximately a move down 14.5-ish%. All right. But I'd target, if I shorted it there, I'd really target the bottom of this parallel. So somewhere around 183, 184 for Solana. But I like it. I like it. How high does your crystal ball show for open before it gets smashed down? Bruce says. Let's see. How high can open go? It could go a lot higher, right? Look at the previous price action. It has data since 2020, and it's down 86% from its highs. Now, is it going to go 86% higher? No, but that just means it has previous price data in different ranges, right? It could go to $25. You have some solid price action there. It could absolutely go up to this nice level here on 639. I like this gap fill over here around 668 for a short, but you're talking an additional 20% higher. So there's plenty of places it could go. It's hard for me to tell you exactly where it will go. I am not a genie, but for me, if I had to guess, considering it's moved up 8% today, I say it pulls back around the $7 level, somewhere around there. All right. Somewhere in and around there. Keaton says, hi, Lon. Is there a website to find inverse ETS? I'm trying to locate one for WDC. But let me see. I just Google it, to be honest. Inverse ETF. Let me see. Western Digital. I don't have. There is none. There are no inverse ETFs for WDC. I have none, Keaton. I just Google it. I looked it up and there is none. And then says, is FETH, is that forming a daily head and shoulders? You could say that. This is just Ethereum though, right? Right, you could say that it is forming one. Like this is a bad shoulder, but it is. I would just probably chart Ethereum, and Ethereum is creating head and shoulders. So if Ethereum is creating head and shoulders, FETH is also creating head and shoulders. So yeah, it is. Jason says, what's a good shorting target for MKR? MKR, USDT. Oh, I'm currently short, entered 1779. For me on MKR, actually looks, I would say, bullish. Believe it or not, just because it has this nice downsloping trend line, and you see why it's good. Through here, broke above, retraced to it perfectly. I think this actually favors a move potentially higher. I know you shorted it, not shorted, excuse me. Shorted it from 1780, and you're in the money 2%. What I would do is I'd just put a stop, right? I would put a stop loss. You can just put a short and you can do anything with as long as you put a stop loss. I'd stop out around 1870 if it went back up there. My target would probably be around the mid 1500s. But Jason says, will you please look at SRP one more time? Oh, my bad. I did pull it up, didn't I? This is the wedge. This is the upsloping trend line on the bottom of it that it tried to break down from, broke up. So what you want to see here on XRP, see close here, confirm, and then a move lower on XRP. Again, I'd look for a move around 15% lower on XRP. Anu says, hello, please, Hood swing trading perspective. Hood, Robinhood is has this down sloping trend line that it's starting to break above. It can close above. I expect it to go higher, maybe 10%. But you also have a couple things going against Robinhood, right? You could say that there is a head and shoulders pattern, on Robinhood, right? That was an ugly drawing. I apologize. Shoulder, head, shoulder, right? You could say that is a valid head and shoulders on Robinhood. So you have two things kind of playing against you. You have a down sloping trend line, which we know is bullish, and a head and shoulders patterns, which we know it's bearish. Let's see that measured move. It's retracing to it now, though. The measured move is 21% down, so you expect a move around 10% in your direction, right, to the downside. So it's hard. It's kind of hard. It could go. I hate when people say it could go either way, but it really could. It's at closer to the highs of the charts, right? It's not at its highs right now. It's down about 11% from its highs. So, but it's up, still up from its April lows, up over 250% from its Liberation Day lows, right? So out of these two patterns, I think it's more likely to go down rather than go up. Eric says, can you check Aerodrome? Aero USD. I'm not sure if it's in a bullish wedge. This is bearish for me. This is bearish. Down move, sideways to up consolidation. That's a bear flag. Favors to move lower. For me, prediction wise, I look for support somewhere around here, 10 to 15% lower, somewhere around this. $9.50, 9.95 level, excuse me. Pardon me. Nancy sent me a chart, said, hi, Lawton. Sent a link to XMR. What are your thoughts? Let's take a look on XMR. XMR USDT. XMR USDT. Let's see. We draw these lines so everyone can see what you sent me. You have this here. You kind of took it down through these pivots, it looks like. And then took it from here and you took it to here, basically, right? I don't love how many times it pierces, to be honest. I don't really like charting that way. I like to use all of the pivots. So if I was charting this, this is how I would chart it. I'd chart it like this. I just like it to be perfect and clean. But let me see your question. What are my thoughts on the daily? Regardless, you have kind of a downsloping trend, right? And that's obviously bullish for the crypto. You also have a potential inverse head and shoulders, right? Something like this. There's a couple ways you can draw it, depending on where you want to put the armpits. But let's, for this demonstration, we can use, let's use this one. So we'll do this. We'll do this. We'll do this. You could say that it's looking to break up and out of a inverse head and shoulders pattern. This measured move would be a move up. Should it break? 25%. Right, that's your measured move, but I'd look to take profit somewhere around here, around this pivot high, around $315, should this inverse head and shoulders end up breaking on the XMR chart. Mar says, why is everything in your house white? Is that your choice or your girlfriend's choice? In Holland, we have a designer and everything was designed. Was white your inspiration maybe? No. So when I moved into my house, all the walls were white, and I wanted to here's what I wanted for like my theme. My theme for my house, I wanted to be a it's called natural. I don't know if it's natural beige. Like natural beige-ish. I'm trying to think of it. Interior, like almost like Scandinavian in a way. I'm trying to think of the way it's way to explain what it. There's a name for it, but it's like a lot of like natural wood, but the walls are all white. My couches are beige, and the table is a wood table. So I would show you next time what it looks like if I can bring a picture for next time. But I'll show you next time what my house looks like, so you guys can see. Nancy says, thank you. I appreciate all you do. Thank you so much to you, Nancy. I appreciate all you do coming in here and asking questions. Let's see what else we got. Eric says, I'm sorry. I meant, can you check for a wedge in Aerodrome? On the weekly chart. I'm looking for something with more data, maybe. No. Yeah, I don't see a wedge. Unless you want us to call this a wedge. Like this. No, it's not a wedge. On the weekly chart, there's no wedge here. Got nothing. I got nothing. On the daily, you could, kind of call this a wedge, but I don't love it too much, to be honest. Nah, I don't have a wedge on this at all. Unfortunately, if you send me your chart, did you send me your chart? Let me look. If you send me your wedge, you could send it to me. Britsky says, hi, Lon. I thought shorting is considered high risk, but you guys do it often. Yes. Any lessons here? Thanks, brother. Have an awesome weekend, Philly. Thanks so much. Yeah, I'd be happy to answer your question. Give me 1 second. So is shorting high risk? Yeah, shorting is risky, and I'll tell you why it is higher risk, right? Let's take a look at a chart. Let's take a look at chart of Circle. This is a good example, okay? On Circle. So first of all, what is shorting? Shorting, let's turn this into a teachable moment because I didn't do any. Sorry about that, production team. So what is shorting? Well, we know what going long is. That's just you buy here, you sell here. You made $230 per share. So for each share you own, you get $230. Okay, that's how you make money buying something. The worst case scenario, let's say I put $10,000 in. The worst case scenario is price tanks, goes to $0, and I lose it all. Okay? I lose all of my money, and that $10,000 turns into zero. Okay? But when you're shorting, it's different. Shorting is the reason why they say it's high risk is because, first of all, shorting is, let's say I short up here. If it comes down here, right, I make $146 per share that I short. I just make money as it comes down, where when I buy, it goes up. The difference with shorting, though, is that the maximum amount of money I can make when I short something is to double my money. That's the most I can do, right? Is double my money, right? Because the price of a stock will never go below zero. So if I short at 264, the most money I can make per share shorting is if it goes to zero, and I'll make $264 per share. Going along, I can make infinite money because it can go up infinite amount, theoretically. It won't, but it could. So another reason why shorting is more risky than buying something, high risk, is that I told you before, when you buy something, the worst thing that could happen is it goes to zero and you lose all the money you put in there. That sucks. But with shorting, right, let's say I short here at 115. If it goes up 100%, then you lose all the money that you put in, right? You lose all the money you put in. The value goes to zero. But if the price continues to go higher, and let's say it goes up 150%, okay, goes up 150%, 50% more than 100, that extra money is going to be starting to take out of my account. I can actually go negative. I can actually lose more money than I put into the trade. Okay, I can lose more money than I put into the trade. For example, let's say I have $100,000. I short Circle with, at this 115 price with 10K. Okay, and I don't add to it. Well, when it goes 150% against me, not only would I be down 10K, I would be actually down 15K. It takes that extra amount of money from your account. It dips into margin. Now, it doesn't you don't lose that money unless you cover your short or close your short. But theoretically, you can lose all the money in your account, even if you only initially started with a small position in your accounts one way. But it's not, it depends on how long you hold your short for. It depends on how much money you put into your short and tons of things like that. Okay, so that's why people say that shorting is more dangerous. David says, is it okay to use contracts when going to short? Yeah, you can use contracts to short. I don't use them. I only just trade the stocks themselves. But this is why whenever I short something, I always put a stop loss, right? Because I don't want to risk, I have a certain amount of risk. Shorting is only risky if you don't play with the stop, right? Same thing for buying. It's the same thing. But theoretically, you can lose infinite amount. If you shorted Circle right here, you're with, let's say I have a 100K account and I put 10K short Circle. As soon as it opened and I went up here, I would have lost. I'd be down over 33K even though I only put in 10K to the trade. Mar says his name is Jan de Boer. Modernist Light. Love of White. Check him out for ideas ago. Cool, man. I definitely will. I'm not done designing my house or making changes to it, but I'll definitely take a look at it. Thank you so much, Mar. All right, guys. With that being said, that's it for my show. If you enjoyed this, guys, please consider liking this and subscribing to us on YouTube. It really helps us out, really helps the algorithm out. Again, guys, my name is Lawton Ho here with Verify Investing. I'll be here tomorrow in a different setting. I'll be live from Philly, and I'll be live from 12:30 to 1:15 to answer any of your questions. If you have any more questions, guys, feel free to send them to me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is Lawton Investing, just at Lawton Investing. All right, guys. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Best of luck with your trades, and I hope to see you all tomorrow. Okay. Have a great day, guys. Take it easy. And thank you to Kinesis for sponsoring this video. You're welcome, Peggy. Thanks for being here. Hey guys, Lawton here with Verified Investing, back with another video from Kinesis. Thank you so much to Kinesis for sponsoring this video. So going onto the homepage, you can see that I'm logged in to Kinesis.money, and I want to highlight something I really think is cool. You guys know that I'm a trader, a pro trader here at Verified Investing. And did you know Kinesis gives you another way to trade? That's right. You're able to directly trade on the Kinesis platform and earn physical gold and silver while doing so. You can see here their trading platform and their charting platform is actually integrated with TradingView. That means the same charts that I'm used to using, that Gareth is used to using, that all of us here at Verified Investing are totally accessible for you to use. So there's a seamless transition if you want to chart on here. You can even see the order books and the history. Right, so if I want to put in a trade, I can put in the price in USD or the amount in KAU as one of their pairings. I can set a limit order, stop limit, trailing stop, whatever I want here, and I can do good till cancel or fill or kill or whatever else I need. Additionally, I can see all of my orders down here. Going on the left side, I can see all the different pairings that Kinesis has on their exchange, such as Bitcoin and Ethereum. Really, really cool. So not only is it a platform that lets you earn money and earn physical gold for doing anything, if you're trading cryptocurrency anyways, Kinesis could be an option for you as well. Kinesis is really cool, and there's way too much just to talk about in one video. But if you want to learn more about Kinesis, go ahead and check them out in the link in the description. Thank you so much to Kinesis for sponsoring this video, and see you guys next time.